Engineer Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso. A strategist and a thinking machine, Alhaji Kashim Imam.
Since 1999, Nigeria has been under democratic rule. After 27 years, we thought we could proudly celebrate the entrenchment of democracy, believing that the country's dictatorial past has receded into history. Our experience in the past 3 years or so, since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to power, has however confirmed otherwise. Democracy is only sustained by the quality of freedom that it offers and guarantees, especially the freedom to choose, the freedom to participate, and the freedom to associate. These freedoms are so critical to democracy that without them, democracy dies. Yet, in the past 3 years, we witnessed a relentless assault on these very freedoms. The agenda is very clear: to create a situation where in 2027, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerges as the only option left for the people, despite the widespread suffering and wanton killings going on across the length and breadth of this country. The twin challenge of deepening poverty, worsening security situation in the country did not just happen. They are direct consequences of the failure of this government. They know that Nigerians will not want to continue. They know Nigerians will vote them out. This is why they will do anything to hang on to power by hook or crook. The coalition of opposition parties came about as a result of a collective search for democratic freedom and the desire to resist what was clearly a relentless assault on opposition political parties. The coalition leaders decided to come together under ADC to save multi-party democracy in Nigeria and rescue Nigeria from what was clearly an emerging dictatorship. We did not come to the ADC by chance. We did our due diligence. We fulfilled all the party's constitutional requirements, as well as all wider requirements under the laws that guide the management and operation of political parties. In furtherance of this process, a INEC meeting was convened on July 29, 2025, monitored by INEC officials. One of the conclusions of that INEC meeting was the dissolution of the National Working Committee of the party and the ratification of the caretaker committee to take over the affairs of the party, with my humble self, David Mark, as the national chairman, Rauf Ogbeni Arigbeshola as the national secretary, as well as others who have since been serving as officers of the party. In addition to witnessing this process that brought in the new leadership of the party, a formal report of these resolutions was subsequently communicated to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. On the 9th of September 2025, INEC then uploaded the names of the relevant NWC members of the party based on the INEC resolutions. One of the officials of the dissolved National Working Committee was Nafiu Bala Gombe, who was one of the deputy national chairman of the party. It is on record that Gombe resigned his position on the 17th of May 2025. His resignation was also duly transmitted to INEC on the 12th of August 2025. Regardless of his resignation, he decided to approach the courts on September 2nd, 2025, 4 clear months after he resigned, seeking to be recognized as the chairman of the ADC. What this means is that by the 2nd of September, when he approached the courts, INEC was already aware that Secretary Arigbeshola and I had been inaugurated on the 29th of July in a process monitored by INEC. INEC was also aware that Gombe had resigned his position before the inauguration on the 29th of July. While this matter was in court, our team of lawyers approached the Court of Appeal, challenging the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. In rejecting the appeal, the Court of Appeal ordered the parties, including INEC, to maintain status quo ante bellum. After this ruling on 12th of March 2026, we noticed a flurry of activities by lawyers associated with Nafiu Bala Gombe, requesting INEC to recognize him as the new chairman, or to derecognize Arigbeshola and I as the secretary and chairman respectively, in a curious interpretation of what constitutes status quo ante bellum. But we know all along that Nafiu Bala Gombe and his lawyers were not acting on their own violation. They had become willing tools in the hands of the ruling party that had lost all support and goodwill to the Nigerian people. A government that has become desperate, so desperate to cling to power by all means, and even if it meant throwing the country into avoidable crisis. In the past couple of months, ADC has become the only viable opposition party left in Nigeria. But this APC government does not want any opposition. While we were fully aware of all their desperate plans, we remain confident that no level of desperation would have driven the government and the INEC to take a direct action against the ruling of the court. But we were wrong. It was therefore, to our surprise yesterday, 1st of April, that INEC issued a press statement after the close of business hours, announcing that it had decided to withdraw recognition of both the ADC leadership, which I heard, and the fictitious one purportedly led by Nafiu Bala Gombe, thereby creating a false equivalence between the parties. By purporting to recognize Nafiu Bala Gombe as a faction, INEC seems to have conveniently forgotten that this individual had resigned his position to the knowledge of INEC itself. The crux of the matter is the interpretation of what constitutes status quo ante bellum, which the Court of Appeal directed should be maintained. From all authoritative counsel at our disposal, there is no legal interpretation of precedent that could possibly lead to the outcome that INEC seeks to foist on our party. Based on his press conference of yesterday, INEC is pretending to be confused as to what constitutes the status quo ante bellum. If this was so, under the circumstances, what one would have expected was for INEC to approach the Court of Appeal to request a judicial interpretation of what truly represents the status quo under the circumstances. But INEC did not do this. While posturing to be neutral, its actions confirm that it has become irredeemably partisan, working, as it were, towards a preconceived agenda. With this action, this INEC has left no one in doubt that it has chosen the path of dishonor and has become complicit in undermining Nigerian democracy. It therefore can no longer be trusted. What we say in essence is this: INEC cannot choose to fix the status quo from the day it took the administrative action to uphold the names of the new ADC members on its website. Because INEC does not have the power to determine for any political party who its leaders should be. That decision was taken on July 29, 2025, not on September 9th. With its press conference yesterday, INEC has invented a status quo that never existed, because there was no time that the African Democratic Congress, ADC, did not have a fully constituted leadership. What INEC has done is to create a situation that by its own curious logic leaves the ADC without leadership. This certainly cannot be the status quo that the Court of Appeal directed should be preserved. It is an INEC invention that is not known to any Nigerian law. There is only one conclusion that Nigerians can draw from the 1st of April 2026 action taken by INEC. The electoral umpire has taken sides. It can no longer be trusted. As a matter of fact, INEC has acted in contempt of the Court of Appeal and has therefore acted unlawfully. My fellow Democrats, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is not the ADC that is under attack. It is a direct assault on Nigeria's democracy and the right of Nigerians to choose, to participate, and to exercise their rights as free citizens. We have witnessed how the APC-led federal government has undermined, compromised, and coerced other opposition political parties. The ADC has risen as the last bastion between Nigeria's democracy and full-blown dictatorship. And this is what worries them. What is now unfolding is a concerted effort to dismantle that last bulwark. If we allow this to happen, it could signal the end of our democracy as we know it today. If we yield to it, we would have become complicit by our inaction. We therefore hold it a duty to our democracy and to the Nigerian people to say no. 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 Right now, I speak to Nigerians at home and in diaspora. I also speak directly to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With 90% of the National Assembly and over 30% of Nigeria's 36 governors in the APC, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what are you afraid of? If you are convinced that you have done well for the people who voted for you, why are you afraid of a free, fair, and transparent electoral contest? If you are indeed the Democrat that you claim to be, why are you bent on destroying all opposition political parties in this country? Let me reiterate for the record, there are no competing claims on the leadership of the ADC. Nafi Bala Gombe has no locus whatsoever. INEC should have waited for the Court of Appeal to decide this matter. Instead, INEC went ahead to do the bidding of the ruling party. For let us be clear, the role of INEC over political parties is not administrative, it is not managerial, it is simply supervisory. For the avoidance of doubt, the leadership of ADC inaugurated at the 29th July 2025 NEC meeting remains the lawful leaders of the party. Yes. Party members and all Nigerians should therefore remain calm as there is no cause whatsoever for alarm. It is important to state the net implications of this decision taken by INEC, in case they have not thought of it, or they just do not care. First, by attempting to subvert the leadership of the ADC, INEC has already undermined our participation in the Osun and the Ekiti elections taking place later this year. Secondly, we have our congresses starting on the 9th of April 2026, ending with our convention on the 14th of April 2026. We have given due notice to INEC, and they have acknowledged receipt of that notice. This is what the law requires of us. Let us sound a note of warning. This INEC under Professor Joshua Amopita will be held directly responsible for whatever actions or inaction or reactions that follow this criminal path that it has taken. Our demand is therefore very clear. We demand the immediate resignation or sack of the INEC chairman.
Yes. Yes.
Professor Amopita and all his national commissioners. We no longer have confidence in them. We are convinced that they are incapable of conducting any credible election.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Let us also make it clear. We are proceeding with our party programs because there is nothing under the law that makes INEC's attendance a mandatory requirement.
Yes.
We have duly served INEC notice and we will proceed accordingly. We also call on the international communities to take note of INEC's activities of 1st April under the restraint we have exercised so far. We urge them to recognize the clear threat to Nigeria's democracy and stability, and to hold accountable those who are undermining the integrity of the electoral process. We call on Nigerians to defend our democracy. This is a defining moment. Stand firm, speak out, participate, resist any attempt to impose the one-party system on Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and together we must protect it. It is often said that the arc of history does not bend towards tyranny, it bends towards freedom. No matter how long the night may seem, the morning will come. Nigeria will not be silenced. ADC will not be silenced. Nigeria will not be conquered, and ADC will not be conquered. Nigeria is rising, ADC is rising. Thank you and God bless you.